Hello everyone, I am Sassi and I'm a doctoral student in Auburn University. Today I'll be presenting the developmental trajectories of cognitive function across a 9-month motor skill intervention in preschoolers from low SES background. Research have shown that children exposed to adverse environments, such as poverty, for example, are at greatest risk for deficits in cognition, and children that exhibit problems in executive function also commonly exhibit motor coordination impairments. In addition, some studies have demonstrated that children exposed to challenging and cognitive demanding physical activities or sports are exposed to a more efficient environment to develop executive functions. Therefore, this study examined the developmental trajectories of cognitive functions across a 9-month motor skill intervention based on mastery motivational climate for preschoolers from a Head Start program in Alabama. The intervention consisted of a group based on the mastery motivational climate, emphasizing motor skill instruction, and a second group exposed to an autonomy-supported climate with no motor skill instruction, and the classrooms were randomly assigned to each condition. Children in the intervention group were provided with stations with activities varying the difficulty level, which encouraged the learning of both locomotor and object control skills. In the comparison group, children could play with the playground equipment already existent and were provided similar equipment to those in the intervention group and were encouraged to play and be physically active. However, the setting was not divided into stations and the children did not receive any feedback specific to motor skill instruction. Both groups were given autonomy and encouraged to select activities of interest and engage in those activities for as long as they wanted. The main difference between the two groups was the motor skill instruction. The intervention was conducted twice per week during 9 months, and we had 143 children, with 79.2% of them being African American. The assessments that we used in the study were Flanker, which measures attention and inhibitor control, dimensional change card sort, measuring cognitive flexibility, and Head, Toes, Knees, and Shoulders, measuring attention, inhibitor control, and working memory. Those were administered in 3 time points: pre, mid, and post-intervention. Then we conducted a Layton profile analysis to identify cognitive profiles in our sample, and then a Layton transitional analysis to evaluate the probabilities of transition between the classes in the 3 time points. In the Layton profile analysis, 2 distinct classes were found: good cognitive function and poor cognitive function. When looking at the Layton transitional analysis, for the intervention group, among those classified as poor cognitive function in time 1, the probability of being classified as good cognitive function in time 2 was 21.7%, and among those classified as poor cognitive function in time 1 and 2, the probability of being classified as good was 9.4% in time 3. For the comparison group of those classified as poor cognitive function at time 1, the probability of being classified as good cognitive function in time 2 was 19.5%, and among those classified as poor in time 1 and 2, the probability of being classified as good was 6.8% in time 3. So overall, the motor intervention program did not significantly influence changes in the classification of cognitive function in this population. And although we could observe a change in cognition, it's possible that the dose of intervention was not enough to see greater and consistent improvements. So future interventions should be performed looking at a more intense dose, for example 3 times per week, to verify improvements in a greater extent. Also, there were similarities between the groups, and the climate might not be as effective to improve executive function compared to fundamental motor skills, since data from the same study showed that intervention was effective for fundamental motor skills, where both groups improved, but the intervention group showed greater rate of improvement, especially for both skills. And to our knowledge, this was also the first intervention using this design to measure any cognitive outcomes and to look at developmental trajectories throughout the school year in this at-risk population. Thank you for watching, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have. Here's my email and our lab's website and Facebook page.